AI becomes like, it should be like a teacher, basically treated as a teacher to teach themselves to program properly before coming to work within the organization.
So, have you tried, writing code yourself with these tools? Yeah.
I came to a point when I would say AI systems or something. It's not like for playing or like just for me to generate pictures just for because I want to like a toy basically to play with a toy. It's not like that. Developers must understand AI or how to generate because it helps to progress.
Is AI hype or help? G'day and welcome to the show. I'm your host Pete Cooper and our topic is AI hype or help. Today's guest is Alexey Prokopenko. He's coming to us from Australia. Like me, he's an IT professional working in the field of developing software-based solutions for companies all around the world. Now, he actually comes from Russia, as you'll hear from his accent. I'm actually based here in the US. So with our common interests, without further ado, let's get into it. G'day, Alex, and welcome to the show. Alex, thanks for joining us. We'll get into a brief introduction about yourself. But Alex Prokopenko, you have a business in Australia called Kite Union, and that's being impacted by these big changes in AI. And as soon as you start talking, everyone's going to know you're not naturally from Australia. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and how you got there.
Hi, Pete. Nice to see you again. And thank you for inviting me to this show. Yes, my background is Russian, and I came to Australia about 2008, 17, I think, or 18 years already.
Wow.
Yeah, so quite a while back. When I came, as all migrants, had a job, had something, and before coming to a point to develop my own business. It's specifically after MBA, finishing MBA, I wanted to do it later
Mm-hmm.
on.
Mm-hmm.
So I started this year, it will be 10 years when I started this Kite Union. I call it Kite because of IT word, like letters in it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a pure reason why Kite because of IT. And
Mm-hmm.
my business is just focus on IT and was always focused and no other intention. It was just
Mm-hmm.
focusing to doing something like
Mm-hmm.
flying high, understanding, resolving somebody else's problems. It's all about that.
So
And
do you
yeah,
come to this from the business side, or did you come from more from the development side?
from two sides, from a
Mm.
business and development. In Russia, I had, like many years back, I had clients in Russia, and I sort of already get a sense how to do business, how to run a business. So it's just natural growth or progression for my business to come to conclusion to open a company in Australia.
Mm.
And yeah, so the major focus was on custom app development, and
Mm-hmm.
I found it's very interesting industry because Pete, you're as well in IT, but in IT industry, everybody like there are so many solutions out there. So like all problems are resolved in many different ways. However, the big problem on the market, they don't resolve just for your business, whatever business they are, they
Mm.
don't resolve 100%. You need either to mix, you merge, or adapt, or find out, or doing experiments to get things together. Was a big problem, and it's still there. After 10 years, it's still the problem is still there.
Mm,
But
yeah.
in a sense of linking these two, people need some sort of custom solution. It doesn't mean that it has to be one like more than like more like better than any other CRM system. It has to be something tangible on top of other solutions which will give you specific need like a custom dashboard, custom adaptation one or another hardware, or tracking devices, or specific. We did some streaming application for streaming TV, so it's for streaming for specific retirement villages. It's everywhere there is a little trouble. So this is how I came across to Kite Union and started doing this business.
Yeah. Okay. So you and I have something in common. I mean, you come from Russia to Australia. I've come from Australia and I'm now in the US. So I think your challenges coming across, culturally and language as well would be greater than mine, although I had my own set of challenges coming to the US. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Um,
that
so can you just illustrate a little example so that everyone can really ground down without sharing any trade secrets or anything proprietary? Give us an example of a project that you've worked on, one that you're proud of.
Uh, I'm proud so many of them.
Mm,
We've done many different mobile application during this time. We've done web application. I would say main focus was and to develop mostly web applications. And
mm,
what I'm proud when we started, how to say, it's not like a dashboard. It's when an analytical tool on top of other CRM system. So when CRM system produces all knowledge, collects all data together, and we had few solutions like that. We link over API application program interface, if somebody doesn't know.
mm,
But anyway, so we link one software with another software, build dashboard and making intellectual analytics on top of that. And one of them was about retail stock analysis. Another one was about health issues, and another one was about tracking devices and basically to give a hint where everything an item is located, which floor, which level, and so on. So
mm,
this is pretty much common in many of solutions, but
mm.
again, knowledge on top, not knowledge. It's not just simple data analysis. It's not. It's more about giving control, giving it like dashboard or power to
Dashboards.
connect or
Hmm.
turn it on to switch it off. And this is what I'm proud. And I have not just, as I said, like not just one, few of them similar
Mm,
kind of
mm, mm.
structure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did something too, Alexey. I was just telling you about the project before we joined, where we actually we're in construction space and we took a lot of data from a device which was out in the
Hmm.
field, and we put it onto a dashboard, and we had, good visualization tools. You could see, minute by minute, all of the changes for the health of the system, but also, for operationally, like what is it doing and what are the results of the work that it's doing. So, like
Uh,
you, it's using, back-end databases, it's using a dashboard
that's right.
visualization. I mean, I think when World Wide Web is about websites, and you go to a simple website and, you see the pictures and the marketing information without realizing just how much there is
That's right.
happening within the data that's moving around in the background, the APIs, the applications
Yeah.
programmable
Uh,
unit
mm,
interface. Yeah.
uh, when I was studying MBA in Macquarie University over here, we had one lecturer was a CEO of one big company. I don't want to call the name, but anyway, so that company and that guy it was teaching operation management in MBA program, and one operation management more how to bring efficiency within the company, and he was talking about Kaizen, like a Japanese
Mm,
philosophy or
mm,
lean manufacturing and so on. And he actually took us like his class to his company where he was running, and he showed how he changed the flow without lean and with a lean. And it impressed myself during that time. It showed me how to adapt dashboard, how to adapt control, how to build, because that is very complex and it's very sensitive for health because, like in order to go to production site, you need to do like spend 15 minutes to cleaning yourself before coming. It's a very serious production. But anyway, so everywhere they had dashboard, controller, like big screens display, and it's all just about software, how to control all this stuff. This is what impressed myself before running Kite Union, before starting it. And
mm.
that's where I'm sort of like looking towards to as that example to improve operation efficiency of
Yeah,
any
so
business.
let's dig into that a little bit. This
Yeah,
Kaizen principle,
yeah,
from what I understand of it, it's like a board where you move things from the to do to the in progress to the complete, and it's put up
uh-huh,
there for everyone to see. And it's all about making a flow, so not to have too many things uh, in the pipeline is, or in each column, I guess is a better way to say it. You don't have too many things in each column. That gives you focus on the important thing until that's resolved, and then it gets moved over. Is, am I getting that right?
yeah. That's completely right and
Mm.
completely correct. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So that Toyota manufacture production, when he introduced in his Toyota, it's more like to build a conveyor. You do nothing till you get a job. So
Mm-hmm.
and the less waste, like waiting, basically to eliminate waste of waiting period of time. So basically when you do nothing, that is a big challenge for organization. The whole philosophy is just about eliminating waste. So basically whatever it's waste,
Mm.
and build efficiency in IT world where we are. People adopt it as a more agile approach. It's exactly the same logic, but it's just they put in agile approach.
Mm.
And
Mm.
agile, and I would say right now, the more and more we're moving forward, even agile sort of, it's kind of like probably lose interest. Basically, people are losing interest in agile, but they still, it's a demand when you do the job, when you like when necessary. Like it's a SaaS platform, SaaS, any
Yeah.
software working like that. Like by
Mm. Mm.
demand, they
Mm-hmm.
charging, calculating how much you need to pay for the service.
Right.
Yeah, it's everywhere. But my point, it's still that particular dashboard, whatever in that product
Mm.
in operation, that was impressed me. And one of my driver, why it's very important and very necessary to understand. It's very complex subject because you need to understand how to template any, like when you or myself as IT consultant, as IT person, as a providing IT service, come to whatever business there. I have no, sometimes I have zero clue about their business, but I need to understand how they run, why they put,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, this hammer on this place, not on that place, and why? Because I cannot even answer why. But
Mm.
when you, so when I sort of collect this information, I understanding this is really interesting how to pack software just for that business, not bringing my ideas or whatever
Mm.
somebody sells software towards to that business and say you need to run this way. That's I would say dilemma or challenge between business side, their business side, and IT side.
Mm.
How to bring all link between
I
these
think
two
that
sides.
it's an interesting, and we talked a little bit about this coming in
Yeah.
too, about the problem. Where is the problem? I mean, I meet many business people all the time. They don't usually open up and tell you, "Oh, look, I've got this problem over here." They're usually
Uh,
telling you how great their business is, and it's not until you sort of get inside the business, somehow you get a way in that you can see the problems, and then if you see the problems, then you can design a solution to it. Um, yeah, I think often that access is one of the biggest problems, for businesses like yours and ours, is getting that access for people to open up and show you where there's opportunities to solve problems. I think there's the sense of vulnerability that they have, um, and a sense that they don't want anybody poking around in their
that's right.
business,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a lot
That's
of trust you have to win,
Of course,
right?
of course, of course. And our or my industry depends on the trust only.
Mm,
It's like, yeah, website is the one source of like trust, but people not coming because they saw nice picture somewhere. They coming because they know, they by referral, by like by communication, by like building relationship, and
mm,
it's very important. And after
mm,
relationship is built, of course, like a project comes
mm.
later,
Right.
but not before, because it's industry specific understanding. It's a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Like yeah, it doesn't work like I met you today and tomorrow we do business. No, in our industry, not yet. But when we build in solutions online, yes, it may happen there, but it's a bit different industry. It's more
Mm,
product based, not
mm,
consultancy sort of, so
mm.
service based. Yeah, a bit different.
So let's talk a little about the theme of the
Yeah.
of the of the show. So AI. Now, I mean, what's interesting is we've been talking for 15, 20 minutes and we haven't talked about AI yet. We've actually talked about all of the stuff that to me AI cannot affect, and that is the relationships we have between people, right? And
Mhm.
what is an organization? A company is an organization. An organization is a group of people. Now, that's still true today. It may not be true tomorrow, but at the moment it is. So, are you using AI to help you with that side of the business, the relationship, the bit that we were just talking about?
Yes, in every step, I'm using AI a lot, and I'm not. I didn't start even this year. I started, I think, at 2024 or even earlier.
Mm, mm,
But of course, technology progressed since then, and more incorporation into business development process or building custom software or content generation. It started growing inside every particular point of the business
mm,
in
mm.
differently. So what I mean, for example, let's say start with a simple conversation. Of course, my English is a second language, and sometimes I'm making mistakes. I need to check it somehow. Either
Oh,
like yeah. So
yeah.
and this is where I mean, like if I how to say if I say I'm perfect in English, I'm still not in perfect in English. So it still requires some development in
Mm,
writing style. And so this is helps. The first point, it's simple, but it helps. The second point, I at the beginning we spent so many hours to develop software businesses software requirements, because when people comes, they say, I have an idea. I mean, I'm generalizing here, but some people have idea what they really want, but many people have, I got an idea, I need an app with no details, with nothing. So basically, I address many times when I develop my idea, the idea, I wrote the business requirements for themselves, and then come into development. Basically, from
hmm.
just one sentence, I had to do everything. And
Yes.
it took a lot of time in the past. Right now, its efficiency is much faster. Less people required to develop same and faster, and more advanced documentation. So that's where I would say AI helped us to structure to how to say to deliver something quicker, because before I spent on quotations hours, not just 1 hour, hours before coming to write how much software should cost.
Right.
But right now, I don't spend those. I mean, I spend still those hours, but much more advanced documentation will be produced within,
Right.
like say, time frame.
Right.
That
So
is,
you're using the
yeah,
LLM tools, that's I
yes.
guess the big jump.
Hmm.
And I've gone all in on those as well and found that I can not only do better work, I can do faster work. But you brought
That's
up
right.
something else, which I want to explore. So you said something like, from one sentence, you can develop all the requirements.
Hmm.
So there must be a few things going on there. You must make some assumptions. You must build on your experience, and you must use the information that the LLM creates for you, right?
Hmm. Correct.
You must have
Um,
gaps though, and I guess you must go back to the client and say, "Hey, look, I need clarification on these things," right?
Correct. Yes, that's right.
Mm.
In the past, before AI started progressing, I had so many different type of clients, completely from different industry, and because it was my skills, I sort of could template by myself one or another type of industry or business, and because of course it's my personal experience helps me to do those assumptions, and how to pass it to AI. Yes, it's probably maybe to build skill set or something like that. But again, it's too broad or too generic. You still need to have some senses,
Mm.
in a personal senses way, not AI senses, because AI can capture, but not everything. And in this sense, what you ask, how to address those assumptions, how to address those points. I had in my measure always how quickly I can predict and how many changes I have to make if I didn't guess this right.
Mm.
And yes, of course, it requires talking. And sometimes it requires conversation, but still, AI does not feel that particular model yet. Even if it generates based on a skill set complete document based on assumption, it may be right, but I don't know, maybe if in the future it will be okay. But at this stage, it's still not very perfect yet, I would
Right. So
say.
you have to have some experience. So
Yes,
I think that's where I guess people who are a little older have a slight advantage over those that are younger. Because if you've always had AI there, you don't know what's right and what's wrong, right?
yes.
I was at a lecture about a month, maybe 2 months back. A professor of one of the senior universities over here, the top universities, was saying, and he's an AI specialist, he's saying he doesn't believe that
Hmm.
AGI, artificial general intelligence, is a thing. He thinks that we don't have the right tools for that. I mean, the AI that we have is great, does a lot of things, but AGI, it's not there. And the reason it's not there is because there's no understanding of the real world. There's no physics. There's no, you know, I can't throw a ball with my hand that's going to travel 3 or 4 miles. I can write that down and the LLM can get it all wrong, but
Yeah,
it's not going to
that's
work
right.
in the real world in physics. Now, this is in construction space. So it's
Hmm.
very, very physics, it's very reliant on physics. I mean, you can't build a building unless you have the fundamentals of physics.
Hmm.
And there's not a lot of that sort of embedded in all the information that the models are built on, not yet. But I guess in your world, in the IT world, there's a lot of information that these models are trained on. So it's probably got a good chance of getting it right, but still not 100%.
It's coming to that point.
Mm,
It's coming, but the challenge after using, let's say, like some services to generate a code, we found and I see progression is not making it better. It's making more overwhelmed with no reason.
mm,
It's basically like let's say in a simple way to say, if we need to generate a simple like procedure or function or something. Before it could generate like simple piece of code, no, not complete solution, but simple. And it was more likely right. But right now, because it tries to build broader, more advanced, and assuming that I need everything, but I don't need everything. And this
hmm.
is where sort of control with the linguistic LLM, it's a bit hard to say something how much you need in the English in a language
Mm.
where I'll express what you has to be done. And assumption is much more bigger. It sometimes it reminds me myself like how I was guessing from one sentence too much, like business requirements. It's a sort of same is happening right now. And this
Yeah,
is where control has to be put in a place somehow. How much is enough? Simple or more advanced?
right.
And maybe, I mean, they haven't done those kind of control yet, but I assume that it will be fine. It's just
Yeah. Mm.
just a matter of time when they will do it. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing as we're talking, I wanted to change a little bit. You have at least two languages, Russian and
Yeah.
English. Do you think that's an advantage when you are trying to, articulate,
Yeah.
building requirements or in any other area?
I definitely yes. I while I was in Russia, I didn't understand this advantage.
Hmm.
Even I learned like language in Russia, but still I couldn't get an advantage. I could get an understanding where like knowing another language, not just Russian, any other kind of language, is advantage of understanding mental, philosophical side of one or another language. It's not just
Mm.
how you structure your sentence. For example, let's take it back to Russian and English. In Russia, it's a language itself is a little bit philosophical because we can put suffixes, we can add prefixes, suffixes, so and we can construct any word in many different ways or shape or whatever. Can
Hmm.
create on the spot. In
Hmm.
English, you cannot do like that. But because of
Ah.
that, Russian is built on a lot of assumptions. Assumption, it's a metaphorical. If you get famous books like Dostoevsky or some others, you will see the linguistic is very comparison, like it's a metaphorical speaking. In
Hmm.
English, not much metaphorical talks, but in English, it taught me more precise procedure focus. Basically,
Ah.
I do this, whatever I do, and it's more easy. I'm using with AI, if we talk about our subject, different type of languages for different type of reasons. Because
Yes.
if I write in English, it's too simple. I cannot express some shapes or grades or feelings in it.
Hmm.
If I write in Russian, I can make it better
Oh,
because
wow.
of language.
That's
Yeah, because
amazing.
of when you write prompts in Russian, it gives you more different, basically pretty much more faster towards to your goal, what you
So
want.
if you front up to an LLM, let's say ChatGPT or something, and you start writing in Russian, I assume you've
Yeah.
got the keyboard, will it answer you in Russian as well as it would answer you in English? Or, can you mix and match? How do you handle these different
Uh,
languages? Because I've only got the one, so I have no idea.
so that's but it may be worthwhile to start learning another one, Pete.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah, no, I really found knowing different words, like different how to structure sentences, whatever, one or another, it opens your mind for other ideas.
Mm,
And
mm,
in a sense of if you, I mean, if somebody will check my profile on YouTube, Kite Union channel, you will see I'm doing content generation like songs or like business videos or all AI generated. And
mm,
in
mm.
by doing that, coming back to a language, by doing, because sometimes I'm writing poems, I can generate, I can reuse somebody else's poems, but still doesn't matter. From one language to another, I still need to adapt it right, to sound
Wow.
it right in one.
Mm,
And
mm.
depending how I write prompts, sometimes I'm using like, let's say, Russian poem first before English, or sometimes English is better than Russian.
Oh, wow. Mm, mm.
And it's a, yes, language is very important. The more languages you know, I mean, I found the more languages if I learn, much better. I would say you will be more, how to say, more towards to achieve your goal. You can achieve faster.
So
I-
he,
I-
the question that I have for you though is, I would have thought most of the data that the LLMs are trained on is in the English language. You know,
mm.
American, Canada, North America, Australia, Europe. There's a lot of English language. Does the model work better in English than it does in Russian, or does it not care?
I think, I mean, I don't know details. I didn't look into source code of them, how they produce it,
Yeah.
my assumption it's a model is the same. Capacity of how to say um, capacity to generate results. I would say it's exactly same, but uh,
Hmm.
uh, like, let's say if I write in Russian, it may answer in Russian, it may answer in English, depending how I will put sentence. I can
Oh, right.
mix two different languages. So basically, if
Oh,
I say I write me in English, it will write in English, even I put a Russian whatever poem there.
mm, mm.
But on the other hand, this is what is really hard to explain. I mean, when people start doing it, they get the skills. Why what is the difference between one and another language? But because this is little sort of fine tuning, I would say it's
Right.
like it's all kind of like, let's say, professionalism in one language or another language or in a business industry, because fine tuning it comes with experiments. And with my experiments, specifically, as I said, like for content generation, I found it's very important depending on what kind of like feelings I want to put in, let's say, music.
Mm,
Like to make
mm,
it more sensitive, to make it more vibe, not just, I cannot say generate, like in English, it's too simple, generate me sensitive song. In Russian,
mm,
I can say many different shapes, how
mm,
to address this particular sensitivity, you know?
mm,
Like if I want to generate more colorful, I would say more wider, not just cinematic, because in
mm,
English I found it's too simple.
mm. Oh, that's interesting.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I
yeah,
appreciate English.
we've
It's
had we've
just
had lots of guests, but we've never gone deep into using LLMs across languages. So I'm going to take away that it doesn't seem to matter. And in fact, maybe you can do, as you said, even more because you have this multi-language. Rather than, I was thinking that maybe the models don't work as well with other languages, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
Mm. Yes, it's not the case.
Mm,
It's in the music, for example, what I found mixing languages, it sounds very nice. I haven't published
mm,
those particular songs,
mm,
but mixing like Russian with I know I have one Russian and in English sounds very nice. And when you bring in like Asian languages like Indians or whatever Sri Lankans or any other non maybe not many people speaking. Even I don't speak, but still it brings that particular sensitivity of that language, how they seen in certain words, and
Yes.
the whole composition becomes more rich, I would say,
Yes. Yes.
more advanced than just
Definitely.
simple, you know. That's why I see beneficial of using this AI.
Mm.
In the past, it was really not possible because I didn't know other languages. I couldn't speak any whatever outside of Russian English. I couldn't talk properly in another language. But right now, having this capacity, I can advance my skills even
So
to next level.
So here I am in the US, and I deal with people in other countries, but it's always
Mm,
English speaking. One assumption that well, I haven't even thought about it. I mean, if somebody in another country in any language jumps on to ChatGPT, they can effectively use it. If I'm in Mongolia or speaking Mongolian, if I have access to that, I can use it. That sounds like what we're saying. It doesn't really matter what language I'm using.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And this is big advantage of this all AIs,
Yeah.
AI systems. However, the main problem of AI in this particular sense of different languages, you will not be able to chat right now, like on our podcast, what we are doing right now.
Mm.
It would be really, really hard if I would start translating every sentence. It
Mm.
wouldn't sound natural. That is
Yeah.
disadvantage. So I have to speak this language, English, in order to communicate with you. If I don't speak, okay, maybe simple language, yes, but you wouldn't talk,
Yeah.
to me.
Now we're all there's a very famous book called the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy where they have this
That's
thing
right.
called the Babel fish that you stick in your ear and it
Uh-huh.
it translates all languages no matter what perfectly. But I
Maybe
think
we'll
you
get there.
alluded to the fact that there's structural things and nuances and the way the language has a foundation which doesn't really allow you to do that easily. So
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was interesting. All right, so where else in AI? I mean, the obvious one we're both using, and that's to build software. I mean, has
Mhm.
that affected your business?
Yes, in a good way, not in a bad way. So,
Mm,
I attended a while ago, I think it was 2025 or 20, yeah, I think it was early 2025 somewhere.
mm,
I attended a NVIDIA workshop in Sydney, and I'm using that as a quotation because on that workshop they they compulsory, they push every developer within their organization to use
mm,
AI
mm.
tools and like a shell to basically to generate a code. And without those skills, pretty much developers wouldn't be able to sustain. Within my organization, I came to the same approach after I heard it from bigger company. I approach exactly same model to start adapting for developers to understand. Developers must understand AI or how to generate because it helps to progress. However, it's not how to say in a junior when junior developer comes with zero knowledge, it's a little bit hard. They use AI, but they have no zero clue why. And this is AI becomes like it should be like a teacher, basically treated as a teacher to teach themselves to program properly before coming to work within an organization. Because before teachers sometimes didn't know some new subject, but AI knows the new subject. So basically, if you talk to AI by yourself, it will be like a second teacher teaching yourself to a level, and then you start working within an organization. And for me, for my business, it's very important that developers need to know AI. AI does not allow, I mean, you can generate full complete solution, but the problem is a complete it does not structure proper architecture. Basically, how to make sustainable growing up or building like long-lasting software solution. It's not addressing that properly. If developer has no skills, it may be a problem. Like a temporary solution is okay, but long-lasting it's not okay. And
Yeah, so the way it
specific.
was explained to me by one of my guys was if you have a problem with the code, you
Mhm.
can use AI to fix it, but it's like putting a band-aid on it. And then you
That's right.
have that problem comes back again. And you got to put another band-aid on, and you end up just patching the problem because you never really had it set up structurally correct in the first place. So I mean, I
That's
have
right.
my guys too. I say, look, and I that honestly, they had to convince me, and they did, to use the tools. And I know I pay for the tools, and they're so much more productive. But I say to them, you have to still know every single line of code. You have to
That's
know it
right.
all. And do you say the same thing?
Not really. Yes, knowing the code is very important, but
Mm,
not really to know every single line because the
mm,
challenge is here. You need you need to use a shell in order to understand what change was adopted
mm,
or to use a language to address specific change.
mm,
But
mm,
knowing the full every line, it's not necessary because it's a lot of stuff like a templated in the software, like
mm,
authorization process
mm,
or whatever, swagger or some other
mm.
technical terms, but it's still already there. You don't need to think too much. It's more just how to set tuning right. But knowing the change is very important because if you don't if they don't know the change, it may cause issues later on, and you will have no clue when the
Yeah.
trouble will come.
Yeah. Right.
Because
Yeah.
it's changing very easily a lot. I see it in the graphics, even it not related to source code, but when you generate like a picture or like a video, because in my case, I'm generating long-lasting videos, like the longest about 6 minutes, or and to keep consistency on one object, basically like visuals or something, it's really, really hard because it breaks so much if you don't control it right. And
Yes.
and same in the code. Visual is more easy to sort of
To see.
point,
Yeah.
but to
Mm,
see, but in the code it's not really easy. But
yeah.
logic is the same. It's
Mm.
the same. It may keep or help. It may break.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think that's a good segue the way you've taken it down. I think we've all had that problem, maybe with ChatGPT. Generate me an image, of a, a teddy bear and a rabbit on a slip, on a seesaw, and it does something really weird, like it's a pig and a rabbit or something, and you say, no, no, I
uh,
said I said a rabbit and a kitten or whatever, and it just can't. It doesn't seem to get it right, no matter how many times you try. Yeah.
yeah.
It got
And
it got it got some of it, a lot of it right, but something fundamental that really stood out that made it wrong.
yeah.
Yeah.
I came to a point when I would say AI systems or something. It's not like for playing or like just for me to generate pictures just for because I want to like a toy basically to play with
Mm,
a toy.
mm,
It's not like that. AI, I would say, in the long run will be used more professionals. Professional means when you understand how to write prompts or you train yourself how to write prompts, you will be pretty much faster than anybody else.
mm,
But to
mm,
teach how to write prompt to generate a perfect result from one sentence,
mhm.
it's a like it's a
Yeah.
art, I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
say,
Well,
in some ways.
I was in Dubai this time last year, and they said that they wanted to have an initiative or a university that was going to have 1 million prompt engineers over the next few years. They're going to do, that was a thing, and that's how committed they were to that. So you'd have on your resume you're a prompt engineer, not a
That's right.
not a developer with a language set. So, have you tried, writing code yourself with these tools?
Oh yeah, yes.
Mm,
My background, as you know, like it's always was in software. I have
mm,
degrees in software development. Of course, I know many different languages, software. I mean,
mm, mm.
languages, and of course, I have to experiment by myself. Otherwise, I cannot advise. And in this sense, it's very important for me to do that. I mean, I'm not writing all my solutions. I have developers to write, but still, I'm experimenting in order to understand what is there, why is there,
Exactly.
why is they talking. Without
Yes.
that, I wouldn't have an experience. And
Exactly.
I see, and AI is very related towards to IT engineers because it's not for, let's say, for art as well, but more closer who people who create doing something creative. It's very good tool to be used. So
Yes.
like to And because of this, I need to know the tool. Otherwise, how can I talk to my developers if
Right,
I,
right.
yeah.
So I fired up the Claude, Anthropic's version to write some code. I had this idea for an app. In 5 hours, I had the app fully working, fully debugged on my iPhone. And iPhone's a little bit more tricky. I don't know any of the languages that, I think it's Swift that the iPhones run on. And I
Uh-huh.
just was able to get it to run. And I wasn't really interested in the code. I've never really been that keen on learning code, but I'm very interested in the process. Like being able to take those requirements and run a process to build to create a result. That was very interesting to me. And I was able to skip that, very deep dive you have to do into the language and learn the
Mhm.
language. I was able to skip over that. And
Mhm.
it made me realize that you can be quite comfortable working across different code bases, iOS,
That's right. Yeah.
Java, and Android or whatever. Um, if you can, I guess, position yourself more like what you suggested, where you're really handling the requirements and ensuring that you're delivering a good quality product, and understanding the process and dealing with the people rather than
Uh,
going down to that syntax level, which
yeah. And Peter, to add to this point, I develop JSON.viewer.kiteunion.com.au. It's a portal. Like there is no reference on my website,
hmm
but I'm saying like this is a subdomain. But anyway, so the whole point in my industry was very important to sometimes to see JSON, like JSON file. Basically, it's a structure in it, and a lot of online tools out there, but always it was a problem because I didn't trust those website. I didn't know whether they save on information or not saving. Right now, by using AI, by myself, I generated this particular page or portal or like one page, and I built all this donation kind of like stuff like component like with a stripe. I also built specific advanced tool correcting JSON file because sometimes there is a mistake you need to correct and you don't know where it's the problem. I adapted to all different exports and all this particular like export JSON file into a database, into a
mm,
code,
mm,
into whatever we are using. Basically, I built it for myself. I didn't build it for somebody else. I built just for myself. And this is where advantage coming of AI. You can develop a tool for yourself. Doesn't matter whatever AI. Maybe it's not a perfect. It doesn't matter. If you want to bring it to production, you can ask developers to do.
mm,
But understanding how to build a tool for yourself, what I always I always wanted, but I never wanted to invest in it
mm.
by paying, But right with the AI capacity, it became possible.
Becomes possible, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Look, Alex, we're going to have you back, but we're running out of time. There are so many more
Mm,
questions I've got for you, and we're going to go deep because we have so many things that we have in common.
mm.
Um, but we're going to bring it to a head. Do you have any final comments before I ask you the final question?
Uh, I would probably say, just not to you, for everybody who is listening this, I would say find a way how to adapt AI. Find a way how to find tangible for your business. It's not me telling you how to adapt. It's you need to understand where, like, to be creative, to replace some stuff, to improve some stuff, to reduce time, like spent on doing something. Find a way. They have to find a way how to adapt. It's not a replacement jobs or something. It's about good analytical tools which analyze one or another industry and give you good suggestions, and up to you to use as much as you can. But
Mm, mm.
my recommendation would to find a way how to adapt AI.
I think that's a very good way to leave it. So, for one final question, Alex, is AI hype or help?
Probably after my pitch today, you probably can hear it's a help. But hype, I
Mm,
would say it's a built around. Hype is more, it depends how people apply use. If I say like I use AI to generate perfect picture, no problems. You can use it as a hype. But AI can generate a perfect picture and can speed up your business and it becomes as a help. So basically convert hype into help and you will be fine.
Yes, well, thank you, Alex. It's been a real pleasure having you on. As I said, we'll have you back. There's a lot
Thank
more I
you.
want to dig into. So
Yeah.
thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Pete, for calling me.
Okay,
Yeah. Thank you for
thanks. Bye
inviting.
bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Now, Alexey was an expert in many, many fields that are very similar to ours, and he started his career in software development. So he uses LLMs like ChatGPT and Claude and others to help him with requirements development. Now, traditionally, that would take many, many hours to write up these requirements. Now, with LLMs, we can do it much more quickly. Now, of course, we have to make lots of assumptions, and there's lots of things that that can certainly go wrong if you just trust the LLMs. And we both agreed that experience adapted and helping us to much more quickly do a really good job, but not to allow it to completely run without oversight. And that's where sort of experience really comes into the fore. We also touched on the importance of relationships in business. Now, corporations are groups of people, and at least at the moment, that is what a company is. It's people working together. I don't believe that's going to change anytime soon, and neither does Alexey. And importantly, we both believe in the importance of human relationships. And then the third aspect we touched on was how the tools for developing software have really revolutionized the whole software industry, how it's made code creation much quicker, and how we've both adopted it very fully in our companies to develop better code, to develop quicker code, to develop features more cheaply, but not to let it run without understanding the structure of the code, because it becomes like a band-aid on top of a band-aid. Well, I hope you found that podcast interesting. If you want to know more about Kite Union, please click the links in the description. If you want to know more about Skillion, please do the same. I hope that helps, and thanks for watching.